Behnam Ben Taleblu, who is joining us live from the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy think tank. He is a senior director there. Very good to talk to you, sir. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Can I get your reaction first of all to the American strikes this morning?
Pleasure to be with you. The reaction is that this strike was nothing short of historic, whose implications we simply will have to wait to see. The first indication of a potential measure of success would be what the U.S. government will put out, which is a battle damage assessment, basically saying how damaged, how destroyed, per what President Trump had said, were these three critical nuclear facilities, one of which, of course, was the crown jewel of the Islamic Republic's atomic enterprise, the Fordo fuel enrichment plant, which was buried about 300 feet underground. Here, where I live and work in Washington, those three facilities that the U.S. struck today have been talked about, debated for nearly 2 decades. Potentially, there is the chance that Donald Trump may have been able to close the door on those three facilities, but it's unclear if he's been able to close the door on the broader Iran nuclear debate.
And indeed, it has left the US extremely exposed in this region, and indeed other potential US allies, not just from Iran, but also from Iran's proxies in the region.
Certainly, I will say, though, however, many of those proxies in the region have been neutered, particularly when you look at the ones closest to Israel. Nonetheless, there still is the Houthis in Yemen with significant long-range strike capabilities brought to you by the Islamic Republic. They have been battered, however, for the past 2 months by the U.S., as well as the Shia militias in Iraq, which thus far have not played an outsized role in the cycle of violence we've seen in the post-October 7 Middle East. The greatest threat, particularly to U.S. forces, however, will come directly from Iranian territory. Even though the Israelis have been striking medium-range ballistic missiles, missile and military bases and bunkers and fuel fabrication and production facilities, the shorter-range ballistic missiles, which would reach the southern parts of the Persian Gulf where the U.S. has bases, are believed to be more precise. So there is a significant threat to U.S. service persons as the Islamic Republic is considering its response.
Do you really believe that this is something that is going to bring the Iranians back to the negotiating table, that Iran is going to be, in effect, bombed into negotiations?
In the very, very, very short term, no, I do not believe that. And therefore, I also believe that the Islamic Republic has more dangerous political options here instead of just military options. If the Iranians escalate militarily, not only were they proven to have been for the past week outgunned by the Israelis, the U.S. will prove in short order that they will be outgunned against the Americans. How the Iranians marry political options and military options matters greatly, just like how President Trump married political options with military options. For too long in the Western debate of Iran's nuclear program, it's been or. I think Trump tonight showed that it can be and one wonders the degree to which this combination will feature in Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran's approach.
And do you think, even though if the nuclear facilities are indeed destroyed, the know-how, the nuclear know-how, still exists? So, do you believe that Iran will be unable to bounce back from this in terms of rebuilding a nuclear program?
Well, what we've seen from the Israelis is the targeting campaign against a whole host of atomic scientists, people involved in the weaponization effort, a whole host of research laboratories, a whole host of centrifuge production facilities, a whole host of sites tied to the lifeblood and the supply chain of Iran's domestic fuel cycle capabilities. But even pushing past those, my concern right now is not facilities, it is actually fissile material. Beyond the battle damage assessment, my concern is if the Islamic Republic ever managed to divert highly enriched uranium or fissile material from any of those three facilities that the U.S. struck today, and if they did, where did they take it, and will a game of cat and mouse on the intelligence side take place to find it?
Behnam Ben Taleblu from the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy think tank in Washington, thanks very much indeed.